Let's look at a very important concept, what we call as infinitive gerunds and participles. This is a topic which you would have learned in your maybe like 5th or 6th standard. It's a very interesting topic. By the way, it's a very difficult topic. And it's very important with respect to our examination simply because of this concept called as participles. So I'll explain to you what this means. Okay, participles. So let's look at this concept called as infinitive gerunds and participles. But first, fundamentally, we need to understand what are verbals. Okay. Now remember in one of the earlier sessions, we looked at this particular sentence. Do you remember? Demanding civil rights more than 2 lakh people march to Delhi. This is a sentence which we discussed in one of our earlier sessions in the foundation class. There, I asked you a question, what does demanding civil rights? Is it a phrase? It is a clause? If it is a clause, is it a dependent clause or independent clause? Okay, and many of students were confused. Okay, the reason is that, demanding looks as if it is a verb, therefore it is a dependent clause. But as we discussed in that particular session, okay, demanding is not a verb in this sentence. Okay, demanding is not a verb in this sentence. Demanding is actually a verbal in this sentence. Okay, now why demanding was not a verb? Because demanding, when you use it as a verb, it will always come along with an auxiliary verb. Like they are demanding, I am demanding, she is demanding. So whenever you use demanding, right, any ing format, okay, whenever you want to use any verb in the ing format, it has to have an auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb will always come along with the ing format. Auxiliary verb or a supporting verb. Okay, so you need to have an auxiliary verb or a supporting verb which will come along with the ing format. Just always remember that in your mind. Just always keep that in your mind. Okay, so if you see an ing format, it doesn't have an auxiliary verb. Okay, if you see any sentence or like any, let's say a verb look alike. Okay, someone looking like a verb, let's say ing format, ending in ing format, but doesn't have an auxiliary verb, very clear, it's not a verb at all. Okay, that's what we discussed. So demanding civil rights was a phrase in this particular sentence. Okay, now who is demanding civil rights? More than 2 lakh people. Okay, so this demanding civil rights is describing these more than 2 lakh people. Okay, demanding civil rights is describing more than 2 lakh people. Okay, so it is not a verb, it's a verbal. We also told it was an adjective and all. Okay, so we're going to continue with this concept again. Okay, now first, what is a verbal? Look at the definition. A word that is formed from a verb but is not functioning as a verb is called as a verbal. So what is the key? It is formed from a verb. For example, demanding. Demanding comes from the verb demand. Okay, so it is a word that is formed from a verb but is not functioning as a verbal. Please understand, it's not functioning as a verb. It's called as a verbal. It is derived from the verb but it's not functioning as a verb is what we call as a verbal. Okay, so under this category we have infinitive gerunds and participles. Again, we will not discuss in-depth infinitives and gerunds, but participles are very important. Why participles are very important? Because they are tested in this error category called as modifiers, which I'll explain to you. Okay, so first let's